Hello, it's Chris Hynes from Wealthi. I hope you're doing well. Today I just wanted to run through a quick video about reasons why I think people should invest in off-plan buy-to-let property. Now there's a lot of talk out there in the market at the moment and a lot of comparisons between buying off-plan property and buying an existing property, something that's already finished and ready to be moved into essentially tomorrow. And I think I'm a big advocate for off-plan buy-to-let property, and I think there's a lot of reasons as to why we should be considering off-plan property. And I'll run through those reasons in this presentation. Hopefully it answers a few questions that may be playing on your mind at the moment. And if not, please feel free to reach out to me, give me a call, send me a message on LinkedIn, or flick me an email. I'm more than happy to have more of a conversation about that. So without further ado, we'll jump on into it and run through this presentation. Now, to start off with, buying off-plan property gives us an opportunity to pick the best units in the development. We're not sitting on Rightmove or Zoopla waiting to or looking at options, exploring what is available, and essentially getting the leftovers from the property market and trying to take advantage of what is still available. Getting it early means that we can identify the best units within the development and are going to generate us the best rental income and provide the best investment in the development as well. So when we're considering our unit selection, there's a number of things that we should consider, and these include the size of the property, the position of the property, is there anything unique about the property? And when I say is there anything unique about the property, I'm talking about units that might be sitting on the corner of the development that are going to benefit from two aspects. For example, you're going to have views to the north, let's say, and then views to the west, and that's going to provide a point of difference in comparison to other units within the development as well. That leads on to views from the property. So are we located on the third floor? And if we're on the third floor, there might be commercial buildings around us, or even another residential building around us, and we're not going to have much of an aspect over the city. Whereas if we're on the 8th, 9th, 10th and above, let's say, in most cases you're going to have a view out of the property, looking back over the city or looking over parklands, or having an aspect of some sort. Another thing we want to consider is the layout of the property, and something that's becoming increasingly popular now and something that's really shifted people's attention since the start of the pandemic and COVID is, does the property have a balcony? And people want that outdoor space now. So that's another thing worth considering when we're looking at off-plan property. The second point is it provides the opportunity to secure the unit at a discounted price. And what that ultimately means is that we're buying at a base price from the developer and therefore benefiting from a discounted rate for buying in advance. And let's say this development's due to be completed in 2024, we're buying in 2021 and we're locking in a fixed price in 2021, not the 2024 prices with the growth of the property, but we're locking in the current market price. And there's things that you can look at to compare how your investment or the investment you have in mind compares to property in the area. And there are things, if you're looking at your price per square foot, seeing how that compares to similar developments in the area, and then look at these comparables and understand how much the competitors are charging for their units as well. And if that makes sense from an investment standpoint and it sits around that medium price for, let's say, a 2-bedroom unit in an off-plan new build property, then it makes sense from an investment standpoint. But you're getting in early, you're securing a lower price, benefiting from some growth over the next 2, 3, 4 years whilst construction is underway, and then in 3 or 4 years' time you've benefited in uplift without having to do absolutely anything but sit back and watch your property be developed. Now, the third point is the fact that it is less intensive. It's essentially providing an armchair investing approach. It requires a lot less effort from the investor's side. You're going to have less maintenance to worry about in the property. In most cases, these properties are coming with 10-year new build warranties as well, meaning that if you have any issues with your boiler or your, let's say, ovens, your white goods, whatever it may be, you're covered by the new 10-year warranty. Another thing to keep in mind is that the snagging is done on completion, and if you don't know what the snagging is essentially a defect report that they do before handing the property over to the investor, ensuring that there's no issues with the property before it changes hands. So that's another thing to keep in mind, and ensuring that the property is completed to the highest level possible as well. Now, the demand factor is another great thing to consider when we're looking at off-plan property, and this comes down to a number of factors. If we have identified a property with great views, central location, a great size property, and to this day now an added bonus being the balcony, but if we can tick 3 of these 4 boxes, it means that our property is going to be a more in demand property in comparison to other properties that are on the market at the moment. So what does it mean if our property is in high demand? It means that we're going to have less void periods. Tenants are going to want to stay in the property for longer because it suits their needs, and there's more of a demand for these new, modern, clean, fresh properties in the current market. And it's going to provide a stable and reliable cash flow for investors as well. You're going to have less tenant turnover, you're going to secure your tenant for a longer period of time, and it's going to provide a more stable investment for the investor. Now, the last point worth noting is the fact that these off-plan investments are in very desirable locations. In most cases, they're in city centres. So being positioned in a city centre is providing a lower risk, and in most cases it's going to provide a greater return. So if we're buying, let's say, in Greater Manchester, that's a much better position to be located in comparison to being in the burbs of Manchester. So it's going to, as I said, mean that we're going to have less risk or lower risk on our investment, and we're likely to see greater returns. Now, and you would have heard me talk about this in my videos earlier in the week when speaking about your Liverpools, your Manchesters, your Birminghams, but we have to look at the investment fundamentals, and this is an important part of the process. And you would have heard me rattle on about it in the Liverpool, Manchester and Birmingham video, but it's things that we have to consider when we're looking at our investment. And generally, when we're located in a more desirable location in a city centre, we're going to be surrounded by your regeneration projects, by strong transport links, by major universities, major employment hubs, and we're going to see some private and government investment in that area as well. And all of these elements combined are going to make a sound investment. So there's some things that we've got to consider. So recapping on what I've mentioned, we're looking to, or it provides the opportunity to pick the best units in the development. It means that we're going to secure our unit at a discounted rate, as we're going to benefit from growth during the construction of the development. It's less intensive, so it's going to provide more of an armchair investing approach for your property portfolio. We need to look at the demand factor, and that's going to open up a bigger tenant pool for our investment as well. We're going to attract young professionals, we're going to attract seasoned professionals, but it opens up that pool of people of who we can attract for our investment as well. And then finally, we're in a desirable location, we're in city centres, we're where people want to live. They've got regeneration projects happening on their doorstep. You're going to benefit from good growth as we see the rippling effect out of these cities from these major projects in central locations. You've got strong transport links on your doorstep, and another point worth noting is you're going to have amenity on your doorstep as well. You're going to have your shops, your cafes, your restaurants, your bars, everything that people want to go and enjoy in life. You've got major universities on your doorstep, you've got major employment hubs, and you're going to see some private and government investment in the area as well when we're looking at these central locations. So I hope that's answered a few questions that might be playing on your mind at the moment as to why to consider off-plan property. If you have any questions, please feel free to flick me a message. More than happy to have a chat with each and every one of you. And I hope you got some value out of this video. I look forward to speaking to you all soon. Thank you.